Sean Hannity went on an awesomely idiotic rant on his radio show this week. To be honest, I didn't even know he still had a radio show. Pretty funny that he does. He's going to say that we shouldn't get off fossil fuels. Go ahead, make the case, big guy. And he's also going to lie about the Green New Deal. And he's going to try to make you feel bad for the ultra-rich.
But this is where the Democratic Party's going. I mean, Ocasio-Cortez, the Green New Deal. You know what the estimated cost of this is? $40 trillion in its first 10 to 15 years. You know what the goal is? To remove America from all fossil fuels by the year 2030. It's an unmitigated disaster. It would result in poverty. It would result in lost jobs, lost productivity, GDP. We wouldn't have the money for any of this. Just like her $32 trillion Medicare for all policies. But nobody in the media is going over how absolutely cost prohibitive all of this is. When has government done anything right that it instills confidence in you? I mean, for all the Americans, you know, all the liberals, you got Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo and Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They want socialism. Well, Cortez said she wants a 70% tax bracket. 70%? All right, well, let me start here. The bottom 50% of wage earners pay less than 3% of the income tax bills in this country. The top 20% pay almost 90%. So 20% of Americans pay 90% of the bill. Now, if you take that money from them and you confiscate it vis-a-vis high tax rates or the threat of a jail cell, raising it 70 cents. No, you know, you have a mass exodus out of New York, New Jersey, California, all these high tax states.
Good point, which is why Sweden, which has a very high top marginal tax rate, everybody left. Sweden no longer exists. They just say shit. They just say shit. This is the same thing. This reminds me of the minimum wage. We can't have it'll lead to higher unemployment, and it'll lead to the collapse of the economy because small businesses can't afford it. Australia has a minimum wage of somewhere between $17 and $18 an hour. How's their economy doing? Is there a mass exodus from Australia? Is that what's happening? It's just nonsense. It's not. He's trying to make the argument, oh, pity the rich. The top fucking 10% of the country, they already pay all the taxes anyway, bruh. Because they have all the fucking money, you idiot. Okay, of all the talking points that piss me off, might be the number one talking point that pisses me off. Because it is deliberately misleading because they only give you half the picture. Bottom 50% of the country only pays 3% of the taxes. Because collectively, they have like $12.72, you punk bitch. Half the country makes $30,000 a year or less. Half of workers in the country make $30,000 a year or less. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. He's like, why doesn't the bottom 50% pay more in taxes? Because they're beyond broke, you dipshit. We got $1.5 trillion in student loan debt. We got over $1 trillion in credit card debt. We have productivity, which has shot through the roof since the 1980s, but wages have been stagnant since the 1980s, not keeping up with inflation. They've dropped. So he's literally trying to argue, pity the rich. Oh my God. What are you going to do? You're going to tax the rich? Is that what you're going to do? Yeah, bitch, that's what we're going to do. We're going to tax the rich. And guess what? That'll help fix a lot of the problems. A lot of the problems. He's trying to argue pity the rich. Why? Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that he's rich. And he's also, by the way, a massive ideologue. But if you notice, he gets caught in between two talking points there. So he tried to argue, Ocasio-Cortez wants a 70% tax rate. No, she doesn't. She wants a 70% top marginal tax rate. Huge difference. Huge difference. Night and day, not even close. So what Hannity was trying to do there is scare the fucking electrician in his audience into thinking, oh shit, Ocasio-Cortez wants to take 70% of my money. Oh my God, I got to be against her. But then his wires crossed and he contradicted himself because then he immediately goes into the defend the rich rant. But wait, what happened? If it's a 70% tax, like you just said, that means it's 70% on regular people. So you're trying to portray yourself as Mr. Sean Hannity coming out here to defend regular people from Ocasio-Cortez's 70% tax. But then you pivot to, oh my God, we have to protect the rich. Pity the rich. Oh, they're the ones who are oppressed. The bottom 50%. They pay nothing. Moochers, leeches. But wait, I thought you said you wanted to protect the regular person. Because you were just trying to say it's a 70% tax rate that they're going to feel. No, Sean, you know that the 70% tax is only going to kick in for every dollar above $10 million in income per year. So you know it. He fucking tipped his hat, whatever the fucking phrase is. He tipped his something, all right? You can see he went from 70% tax on the regular guy. No, it's 70% tax on the rich, so now I'm going to defend the rich and say you should feel bad for them. Okay. Then now let's go through the other talking points. All of it's wrong and dumb and not true. So he says it's $40 trillion for the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, the specifics of it. So we know the general layout is this. We're going to get off fossil fuels, and we're going to have massive wealth creation and job creation in renewable and green technology fields. And you tie in infrastructure with the Green New Deal as well. So that's the layout of it. Are the specifics there yet? No. You have to talk to experts. Hey, what's the best way that we craft this Green New Deal? Are we going to do solar energy? Or are we going to do wind energy? Are we going to do geothermal energy? How are we going to do it? Go talk to scientists. Go talk to experts. Talk to engineers. So we're in the beginning phases of crafting that Green New Deal. It's not like the second FDR said, well, we should do a New Deal. It's like, okay, and here's my fucking 78-page specific point-by-point, policy-by-policy plan to lay it out. But they're overreaching because they're pretending like everything's already crafted. And, oh, yeah, now that I pretended like it was crafted, I'm going to give you a fake price tag on it. Or some shitty fucking PJ Media article that tried, and he's even getting the numbers wrong there because that article's at 18-point-some-odd trillion, and he's saying 40 trillion. Classic Sean Hannity. I don't know, double it or some shit. But both of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. And then furthermore, you know what they do with numbers anyway, because the very next point he makes is, we can't afford the $32 trillion Medicare for all. But wait, our current system over the next decade costs $34 trillion, at least. Actually, estimates show that the more reliable study shows that Medicare for all would save $5 trillion over a decade. So when you say we can't afford Medicare for all, my response is, bitch, we can't afford not to have Medicare for all. We're saving $5 trillion and covering everybody. We can't afford to keep doing the system we're doing right now. So they lie about numbers. He just lies about it. And then, by the way, favorite part of the whole fucking rant, he says the Green New Deal would cause poverty, lose us jobs, and we'd have lost GDP. That's a smorgasbord of stupid he just gave you right there. The whole point of the Green New Deal is to give jobs, is to create jobs and get us off of fossil fuels. And he acts like that's a bad thing. Really? It's a bad thing to get off of fossil fuels? Like, at least other conservatives, they acknowledge that at some point we should probably get off of fossil fuels. With Sean Hannity, there's no acknowledgement at that point at all. It's just like, no, it would just be bad to get off of fossil fuels. What? You're the only person on the fucking planet who says that. Because the only person dumb enough to assert that confidently. He's got to be surrounded by yes men. Since 1996, this dipshit has been surrounded by yes men. Nobody's ever pushed back on his points. So he just says the dumbest things ever and acts like you're supposed to think he's smart. It's unbelievable. The whole point of the Green New Deal is to create jobs. He said it would cause poverty. What? The fuck are you? How? How? Did the New Deal cause poverty? Actually, you know what? Don't answer that. Objectively, empirically, he's wrong if he thinks that, but he would argue that because he's a dipshit. And then, I think that's it. I think I just ran through every single talking point. Oh, no, one more. I knew I was missing one. When has the government done something right, he said. I don't know, Sean. How about you go talk to literally every other developed country on the planet that has one version or another of a single-payer healthcare system, also known as Medicare for All? Why don't you go talk to them? Their healthcare systems objectively rank better than ours. That's the Commonwealth Fund study. That's the World Health Organization study. That's every study that's ever been done. Theirs ranks better than ours. So what have they done right? Every healthcare system in the developed world has done healthcare better than we have, more correct than we have. So there's your answer, dipshit. You want one? How about the fire department? I want a fucking fire when your house catches on fire and somebody comes and saves the day. That's the government. How about what has government done for me personally? Oh, I don't know. How about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau returning hundreds of dollars to me that a fucking credit card company illegally stole from me because they committed fraud and tried to tell me they had identity theft protection, and they didn't? How about that, Sean? Listen, you overreaching fucking clown of a human being. You gotta reel it in, because your talking points are so bad and they overreach so much that any somewhat reasonable tiny amount of skeptical person is going to go, oh, this guy's a fool. He's obviously just playing for a team. He's a tribalist hack, so don't trust a word he says.